everyone, welcome to the Nintendo Prime Podcast. I am your host with the most weirdest, oddest audio setup ever today, Nathaniel Rumpel-Jantz, joined as always by Mr. Eric Moore.
Hello.
And we have one of our $20 Patreon backers, Mr. 243.
Hello, world. Good to be here.
You know, I always meant to ask you, where did you come up with the username 243?
I don't know if you ever played Call of Duty back in the day, but there used to be the community manager. I think it was Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2. He was 402, like spelled out, and I just kind of liked that username because I hated every other one I came up with. So that's how I got it.
Yeah. Cool. So we are here to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Period. There was a Nintendo Direct the day we're recording this. A Smash Bros. Nintendo Direct. Who knows? Maybe there's another Nintendo Direct before this even goes live. But we're just going to be talking about that. We're kind of winging it because we all saw the Direct. And there's a lot to go over. I think the first and most obvious thing to go over are the new characters, because that's what everyone was excited about, especially with the Grinch rumors that
not excited about
that are not true. In fact, odd thing. Maybe this is where we should start first. So the new characters, you know, this is a Smash podcast, so if you don't want spoilers, just stop listening.
Yeah.
New characters were Incineroar, Ken, and Piranha Plant, which is coming sometime in February next year. So those are the new characters. And the thing about it was, obviously coming in, the Grinch rumors, were a lot more than that. Banjo-Kazooie, Isaac, which Isaac I think is an assist trophy, stuff like that. So a lot of characters that people were expecting, people were excited for because they believed the leaks on Team Real. I was on Team Real. They are disappointed, and I have seen a ton of people complaining and, I mean, for lack of a better word, bitching about the additions. Because, I mean, yeah, Ken, okay, but, like, no one wanted Piranha Plant. No one seemingly wanted another Pokemon. Incineroar. Yeah. Even though there was a leak. There was a different leak out there that everyone ignored because it didn't come with pretty Photoshop stuff that literally leaked Ken, Incineroar, and Piranha Plant. So technically this is all leaked, but nobody was talking about it.
Nice.
Including myself. So call me a bad journalist if you want, I guess. This is the thing. How do you know what to believe? You just don't.
No.
And I got to give a shout out to Beat-em-Ups out there. He must have a source connected to Nintendo because he's been correct on every single Direct, like when there was going to be a Direct. His source told him that the leak was fake. His source told him that there is going to be 2 Nintendo Directs this month. And that one of them will be really early in the month. And that will be a Smash one. Well, that's what we got. Literally on the first day of the month, we got a Smash Direct. We'll see if there's a second Direct later this month. We don't know. I assume there's going to be one for Pokemon. I literally assume Pokemon's probably going to get one. That's going to be the next one.
Yeah.
But yeah. And there's other rumors flying out there too. Like I think the N64 Classic is being rumored as being like the announcement is imminent. Like if it didn't happen today, it's happening like within a week or something like that, which would maybe be at another Direct. I don't know. I think the interesting thing and people being mad though is this is the risk you run when you follow all the rumors out there. Is you have a risk of getting overhyped. Do you guys think people were getting overhyped for this?
I mean, people always get overhyped for everything with Smash. So, it was kind of inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, people do always get overhyped for everything with Smash. I mean, it's Smash. It's a big game, widely popular. Of course, people are going to get overhyped with anything that comes out. I mean, unless you can really get at tempering your expectations and just don't believe any rumors that come out, and then they're pleasantly surprised when
I was on Team Real over here. You figured I would know better by now.
Yeah, when things get either confirmed or denied. So
yeah, it's I think people in general the reason they want to believe this stuff or the reason they do is because they really want it to be true. Example, I said from the get-go that the only reason I was on Team Real is I wanted Banjo-Kazooie to be real. realistically, I kept saying it's probably not happening. Even before, because I was live streaming, quote-unquote live streaming, the Direct today, and I said beforehand when people asked me, do you think the rumors are true? I'm like, I don't know, but I don't think so. I want them to be. There's between want and don't think so. So my expectations were already that there's no way.
Yeah.
And at first they fooled us. Ken comes first, and you're like, okay, that was part of the rumors.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden in Incineroar, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is it, the final one. I'm like,
okay.
The rumor was way off.
Yeah, a little bit.
That being said, are you guys excited for Ken, Incineroar, or Piranha Plant?
I'm very excited for Piranha Plant. His kit looks really cool with the that long stretch attack. I haven't looked up any breakdowns or videos kind of explaining the moves, but I can't wait when he comes in February to try him out.
Yeah, dude, Piranha Plant, he looks sick.
His walking animation is so good. The waddle.
Yeah. The Piranha Plant's cool, but again, there's so many.
Well, what does this prove with Smash? You never know what you're gonna
exactly.
get. Who thought Piranha Plant?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I know PD Piranha's kind of become a thing.
Yeah.
But it's not PD Piranha technically.
Well, yeah, the final.
The final Smash is, but
and apparently don't get caught in the cage.
Oh, jeez.
Sure.
Oh man. I mean, honestly, I don't care about another Pokemon being added in, so
right.
I didn't really care about Incineroar. I'm not a Street Fighter guy, so I don't really care about Ken. I'm not. I'm just not really into really any of them. Piranha Plant looks cool.
Yeah.
I'll probably dabble with it for a match
Right.
and then move on.
Yeah.
I will say, what was it? Was it Villager or no Isabelle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I know this wasn't shown as much in the Direct as it was shown in the Treehouse Live footage. Isabelle is going to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
With people that get really good with Isabelle. Isabelle's ability to guard the edge is insane.
Not really.
Yeah, if you're hanging on, usually you're safe if you hang on the edge unless someone jumps off and hits you from the edge, or if they bomb you or whatever. No, they can just fish hook drag you up from the edge. Oh, and by the way, if you're like, oh, I'm going to avoid that by dodge rolling, no, because they can plant one of those stupid fire hydrant things and shoot up in the air and hit you.
Fantastic.
Right on the edge, so they can plant that, then fish hook you, and there's no way to escape.
Fantastic.
Without jumping backwards and then trying to dodge the freaking thing shooting up in the air and then come in.
Yeah.
And by then, you're also got to dodge probably what would be another fish hook
attack.
throw.
Yeah.
So, I'm granted, these were Treehouse people playing, which they're good. They're better at Smash than I am, but I mean, compared to professionals, they get wrecked.
Oh yeah.
So when I'm scared when I see a pro actually get their hands on Isabelle, and I know not a new character announcement, but new character, insane. That being said,
the Incineroar's posing after every attack.
That's just what Incineroar does.
I get that,
It's
but
like its
oh
thing
my lord!
in
If you
Pokemon.
forget to cancel his, because I mean, yes, that's great. You can cancel it anytime, but if you forget to cancel that, you could be totally SOL.
I like his one his downward thrust attack.
Yeah.
Like at one point, like, oh, but if you miss it, you're gonna die, and I'm just like, that's me. I'm gonna be flying off the edge and killing myself.
Oh,
with
but
that move every
don't do
time.
that online, because if you do that too many times, you could get booted.
Oh,
I didn't understand. Who cares if you want to self-destruct?
Because they have rankings, and they would figure you are handing the match over. You're trying to boost someone else's ranking. That's why.
That shouldn't. Yeah.
That's what it
guess.
is. It's a form of cheating. So,
I guess.
So it's a way to stop cheating. My thing is, you brought up online. I think there's two things about online we could talk about with this game. One of them is the fact that they said ideally this game should be played with a land adapter.
Oh God, that was the first thing I texted you.
Thoughts on them saying, "Hey, go get the LAN adapter"?
Yeah, this should be played plugged in. Go for it.
I just can't wait for when the game launches and it's just a meme of everyone saying, "Please fix your internet connection." Every time they lag out.
Right.
Just Sakurai's face and what was it, like the picture of the Earth with just "Please fix your network connection" right under it.
Right.
Can't wait to see that on Twitter everywhere.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my thing is, I mean, it really points out two things. One, the flaw that we have a dock that doesn't have built-in Ethernet.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
How are we in almost 2019 and we're using a dock for a portable system that has USB-C out and does HDMI and all this stuff, but we can't get a built-in Ethernet port when Ethernet dongles exist that use USB-C with HDMI out and with power. So, like, the dock's not doing anything that doesn't exist out there. It just doesn't have Ethernet. And on top of that, the official Ethernet dongle is $30.
That's ridiculous.
$30 for a USB 3.0 Ethernet dongle when the Switch itself doesn't even run at 3.0 ports. Yes, folks, the 3.0 port that's on the inside that everyone's all excited about, that, oh, you get the 3.0 speeds, which is faster than most Wi-Fi networks. That's great, except it doesn't run at 3.0 speeds because they haven't enabled the 3.0 adapter. So all they are running is at 2.0 speeds, which is technically slower than most Wi-Fi networks. So when they're suggesting the LAN adapter, they're not suggesting it because it's actually faster. They're suggesting it because it's a more stable connection for a lot of people. Because a lot of people have Wi-Fi issues with their Switch, so it's a more stable connection. But if you're someone right now that has never had a Wi-Fi issue playing online, do not buy a LAN adapter. You are actually going to make your connection slower. But it doesn't matter because now, after they released the 6.0 update and now 6.1 or 0.01 or whatever it is, now they capped your upload and download speeds on Switch anyways. So it probably doesn't matter if you use LAN or Wi-Fi because it's irrelevant. The speeds are irrelevant because now it's only 8 up and 8 down.
Why?
Because that's all you really need to play online. But it also sucks when you're like trying to download games and you have a speed to download games way faster than that, but you can't.
Oh, Nintendo.
And the thing is, Xbox and Sony does it too. They limit too. So it's like it's not just a Nintendo thing. It's just Nintendo wasn't doing it or wasn't doing it this bad, and now they are. I don't know. Maybe it's a hardware issue and they just had to slow it down. Maybe their network card's just that crappy.
I saw that the first thing. I can't believe I actually saw something.
I can't believe they put up an ad for it.
Yeah.
In the by the way, it's best experience with the LAN adapter. It's like
no. The best experienced wired.
Yeah.
We recommend that you play this wired. I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if I actually had a wired port on my dock. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah, especially by now, like a year later, all new Switches should come with it included.
Yeah. I'm surprised they don't sell docks with Ethernet ports in them.
I mean, they're party docks.
Oh, yeah, but
that you have to be really careful with.
Right, because brick your Switch.
Yeah.
Hooray.
So the other thing to talk about with online is how the actual online system works. And for this, I'm going to give a shout out to my boy, She Says, who is complaining about this on Twitter.
Yeah, right.
And I wasn't thinking about it at the time because I don't play a lot of online matches on Smash. But it makes a lot of sense. Now, how online used to work is you basically had the For Glory mode and then the whatever mode where you make your own settings and do whatever.
Before you go any further, I'd like to point out that that's exactly how they did it at E3.
Yeah. There was For Glory and then whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's actually funny because at E3, you're right. They separated For Glory with no items, blah, blah, blah. It was always... It was always the, whatchamacallit, Final Destination forms of their stages. So, the interesting thing here is, and the complaint goes as this, essentially, you set the settings you want for your online match, right? So, you don't want items on. That's usually the big one. You don't want items on, and you want a Final Destination style stage. Fine, that's the settings you pick. It will try to match you up with another person who picked those same settings. However, in the event at that time, it cannot match you up with someone with the same settings. It will match you up with someone that has different settings. And
Probably
it will
close.
randomly select which person and which settings they're using. Are these yours using them? So you want to practice all the time doing the hardcore items off. You can't control if you are going to end up having items on based on who you're fighting. And it's dumb. They've advertised this game a little bit with esports. They advertised it at E3 with the hardcore For Glory and then the casual. And now, like, they took the For Glory online play, said, no, we're tossing that in the trash and saying you can still do it if you're lucky enough to be matched up with someone else who wants to do it. Otherwise, you might not get to do it. And and by the way, you're thinking about it just from the competitive side where you're trying to practice. What about from the other side when you're someone who wants to play casually with items and you're matched up against a pro player?
Yeah, right.
They're going to wreck you anyways. They're going to be mad that you're using items, and it's just not fun for anyone. Literally, no one has any fun. The casuals get stuck playing against the pros. The pros get stuck playing against the casuals, and nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a really bad change. Actually, when I saw this, I thought this was a terrible idea, but I haven't actually looked on like Twitter or really Reddit or anything to see what most of the community's been saying about this. It is nice to see that most of the people have similar thoughts, but most of what they're doing with online is pretty awful. I mean, I get the argument they're going for quick matches over better matches. So, like, if you jump online, you'll get into a game faster, but it might not be a good game, which I think is where a lot of the problem's going to come from, is how good is having a quick match versus a good match.
Yeah, it to me, it's a big mess because I don't think anyone really complained about how it was separated before. The complaints were usually, like for For Glory, she mentioned, the only complaints with For Glory were the number of stages you had to play from. So now that there's a final destination for every single stage, well, then that shouldn't be a problem. All the stages should be an option now. So that should fix that issue. And none of the casuals were saying, man, I wish I was playing against those pro players that don't like items.
Right.
Because maybe I have a chance against them and then watch them wreck me because they're way better at this game than we are.
So just two things. One thing, I know a lot of the pros actually don't mind some of the stages. It's like kind of like a myth that everyone's, Final Destination Fox only. Like Battlefield is fine. I think like Galaxy was fine.
Yep.
There's a bunch of stages that like a lot of pros would play on if they could be in like a map rotation or something like that, or a stage rotation where like if you play one day, the kind of like what Splatoon does, there's like 5 stages in a mode. Something like that could have been a lot better. Plus they have the Battlefield form.
Yep.
And with the kind of pros versus casuals coming into it, it's going to depend on the MMR range, which they kind of just glossed over, calling it your Smash ranking, which is just MMR, just the Smash version of what it's going to be. They didn't really talk about what the range is going to be. Like, if I'm, say Smash points 10,000, am I going to be going against, 500,000 people or people within, like a 50,000 range? I guess it's going to be hard until the game launches.
Well, and then you have people like me that I prefer items on, right? So say I get really good, but I don't get ever really good without items on because all I do is want to play with items. It's not fair to anyone that's at my rank trying to come up that doesn't want to use items. It's not fair to them, and it's not fair for me to get matched up against people that aren't using items.
Yeah, sometimes people who are playing hardcore, someone like me who's going to be trying to know items and trying to actually rank up and climb the ladder, do want to just have casual matches for fun, where it's not going to be determined by items. And this is where this one kind of global MMR for every different rule set really becomes a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
See, it's funny because I actually think this is a bunch of BS, but in the back of my mind, I keep thinking, I hope I get matched up against She Says every time with items on. I'm calling you out, Mr. Boundary Break over there. I'm like, what was my argument in the last Smashcast? Items make competitive play more fun to watch.
Yeah.
I think it also makes it more fun to play.
Yeah.
So, while I understand people don't like it, it adds a lot of randomness and random factors and but guess what?
But
that's what makes it fun. You're right. Like I always compare it to like Mario Kart. You pull the items out of Mario Kart, and it's kind of a bland kart racer. Yeah, it's more technically skillful to pull the items out and get rid of the rubber banding, but it's not as fun. It's not as fun to play. It's not as fun to watch. So you add the items in, suddenly it's more fun to play, more fun to watch. Yeah, the higher skilled players usually end up in first place or at least top 3, but they might lose once in a while. That's part of the thrill of it. And the reason the competitive scene doesn't like that for Smash is because money's on the line, right? The competitive Mario Kart thing isn't big enough where money's on the line. Yeah. So competitive Smash is like, we don't want randomness in there because money's on the line. And it's like, well, okay, what if the pools were bigger because more people were watching? Because it's more fun to watch now because items are involved. And it makes everything get crazy. But again, numbers could also go down too because it could piss off the existing fan base. So it's kind of a conundrum, or maybe leagues for both should exist.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they should have just kept the items and stage hazards divided.
Like
they kind of just try to make everyone happy, and when you try to make everyone happy, a lot of people don't end up actually being happy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, I like keep the current leagues the way they are. Add new leagues that have items and stage hazards and stage bosses on. Say, screw it. This is the way Smash was intended to be played by Sakurai. This is the way you want to play it. We'll let you still play it the way you want to play it, but here's the intended way. Let's do a league for that.
Yeah. But they basically had that with the
Wouldn't it be cool?
For Glory and for or whatever.
And you know what would be really cool if they, because think about it, you have your two separate leagues, but like say you're able to have like a league championship at the end of the year where you go through this gauntlet like at Evo or whatever, and you have the person who wins the one league, the person who wins the other league, they get their cash prizes, but then there's a larger cash prize where they face each other, and every other match changes the rule set. And it's like best 3 out of 5 or whatever, and that final match, if it occurs, because there'll be 4 matches, it'll just happen to go back and forth. That final match, if it occurs, it'll be based on whatever your record was at the tournament. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that get the rule set that they want. Mm-hmm. I think that would be
you could
sick.
just call a coin flip.
Yeah, or you could coin flip it too, whatever. Like just make it so it's not like predetermined.
Yeah,
because then that's unfair.
Yeah, they could do like.
Then you'd be like, but then random chance gave an advantage, and it's like, but if you're both equally skillful at the game,
yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be more skillful as a Smash player because you're used to playing with items compared to people that don't play with items. The skill level of playing with the actual characters shouldn't vary because of the items. The items
are
randomness.
An item like a hammer drops, and you get it, and you KO your opponent and take a stock at 20%, and it's pretty unfair when normally KO would be around 80 to 60.
Get better at dodging the hammer.
Yeah.
The hammer has such a massive hitbox, though. You roll through it, they
get
turn
better
around,
at dodging the hammer.
Hit.
Use a character that has more aerial flight.
Have a bomb or something to blow them back.
Have you seen some of the high air some of these new characters are getting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see the recovery on King K. Rool?
No.
Oh my God, his recovery. He could basically be at that point of you are completely out of the game at the bottom, hits his recovery move, and he comes all the way back to the top. No one else has a recovery like that. It's insane what he can recover from. And by the way, his recovery with his propeller on top, when he's recovering, so if you're trying to like down hit him, hits the propeller, does damage to you, he's fine.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it's like to me, it's got to be the best recovery in the game because you have to hit him from the side
or drop an item on him.
Well, even then, I don't know what happens.
It probably just pushes him down a little bit.
Yeah,
hopefully
they were showing it off. Granted, Treehouse. I want to see some pros do it, but I'm like, man, dude, that recovery looks insane. Yeah. I've never seen a guy have that kind of like. We have Kirby and all these other no, this recovery's insane. I guess he has to because he's kind of a slower character. He's got to have some big advantage.
Yeah.
The online play again. For me personally, I'm kind of like tickled pink, like upsetting pro players and force them to play with items against me. Then again, on the other side of the fence, sometimes I'll be playing without items and I'll be mad and I don't want to play that way.
Honestly, though, you could almost argue that actually playing with items, if you end up playing without items, actually makes you a worse player because if you end up being more reliant on the items per se, and you don't actually get as good with the
character, yeah.
So theoretically, that could actually make you technically
not
a worse
as good
because
you're too reliant on. I'm reliant on that hammer. I'm reliant on the wand. I'm reliant on a shell or something.
But I mean, then again, it's all random, so it can randomly happen in your favor. It can randomly happen against you. So it's
yeah. I mean that's the thing, but that's what makes it so fun to watch.
Yeah,
it'd be like you mentioned, how do you avoid the hammer or whatever? Like, okay, too bad. That's what makes it fun to watch. You're right. You were dominating. He got the hammer. He won. You should have focused. As soon as that hammer dropped, you should have focused on getting your hands on the fucking hammer. Yeah. Then should have never let him have it. And I know, it randomly dropped by him. The stages aren't that big.
Yeah.
We're not talking about playing on the 8-player stages where it's all the way across the map. You can see the items dropping. You freaking get over there and take care of business. Yeah. And if you don't take care of business, then they get the item.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 when I see items on and I see a pro player going against, another person who's really good with items on, the pro player wins every time anyways. Literally 99.9% of the time the pro player is going to win. Because not only is the pro player technically a technical master of the character and countering other characters, they're also now you're giving them items that make them even more powerful. The other person has an item, but they suck at dodging. They suck
that's what I was saying. Technically, you could.
But I don't know. I'm not saying eliminate the way Smash currently is. But I'm just saying that I personally, as from an entertainment perspective,
I don't. Yeah.
When was it the Nintendo World Championships? They have items on. I thought that was some of the most entertaining Smash Bros I've ever watched in my life, and I was the one getting pumped watching at E3, watching these pro players fight on the big screen, and I'm like, but man, this was more fun when I watched the Nintendo World Championships with the items on. It was way more fun. because you were seeing pro skill sets mixed with random chance, and to me that is so much fun to watch.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And think about this, even in Mario Kart, right? In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I almost argue there's more skill to play with items on than off because now, as an example, you're in first place, right? Now everyone hates the blue shell. But there's multiple ways to avoid the blue shell. How are you ever going to master those ways to avoid the blue shell if you just never have a blue shell involved? You know, and people don't like, no, if you can only avoid it if you have the horn. No, actually there's other ways to avoid a blue shell. But you don't know that if you're never forced to master it. But Mario Kart makes you forced to master it because there's no, when you're playing online anyways, there's no way to turn items off. Items are always on unless you're doing your own tournament. So when you're just playing online, you're always playing with items. So you just kind of get used to it. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm not trying to crap on the Pro Smash Bros. Thing.
But I think they did make a big mistake going away from...
I don't know why they did. It makes no sense. It doesn't make me happy outside of trolling.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's the only thing. I just want to troll the pro players.
Right.
I'm not going to win.
Right.
So they're just going to get extra mad, and they're either going to rage quit.
Well, that actually, sorry, that brings up another point. That, you know, if you get into a match that has complete rules that you don't want, people are just going to tank out of it. And do you actually get the win if people are tanking?
Well, it depends
out of
if they care about the points.
Or do they? Yeah, but
here's the thing: if you are a professional level player that cares about bragging rights in the point system, you're never going to just tank out.
But how much does a loss, drop you? If it only drops you one spot.
Well, it depends.
Do you really care?
No, it's not going to drop you one spot because let's just say you can't find anyone in your ranks. So you're at like 10,000 and you get set up against someone who's only got 500 points. And that 500 point guy's an item guy. And you just tank out of it because you don't want to do that. You might end up losing proportionately 10,000 points off your ranking because you just lost to someone with 500. Usually how it works. When you lose to a lower ranked player, you lose more.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that pro players, they also care about the records. They don't want losses on the record sheet. So they're going to go all out no matter what. I think it's the casual players that get a little bit more screwed because not only are they going up against pro players that they don't really want to face anyways, but if they do face them, they not only pretty much have no chance to win, they themselves might get frustrated when they end up playing with no items because to them Smash Bros might not be fun without items. Right. So they might just be like, I'm going to tank out. Actually, you get punished severely for that.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it, but
it's one of those things.
Well, there is still an MMR system. You're not going to have a pro going against someone who, is like just is only, like barely winning games against people who are like mildly skilled. Like
no. But what I'm saying is, well, you will at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when everyone's in that one MMR pool, those are always the worst times.
Yeah. I mean, I like it when I'm a Madden player because I'm actually decent at Madden. So like, it's kind of fun beating up on people who aren't any good.
Yeah.
And they think they're good, and then they rage quit, and you're just like, I'm sorry, I'm up by 30. My bad. In the first quarter, I wasn't even trying. You just kept throwing pick sixes. You didn't even have to score an offensive touchdown.
There you go.
Anyways,
just
some other
one
things.
more thing about online quickly. That elite mode looks really cool.
Sure.
How there's kind of like the top mode.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like they should have added seasons for this, where it's like elite mode like resets maybe like once a month, and you have to kind of earn your way back in?
Oh, I mean,
so like your MMR kind of resets over time.
Yeah. I mean, that's like what Fortnite does.
Competitive games like Overwatch is where you get that time to kind of reset and do better.
Yeah, it resets everyone to give everyone a shot again to get to the top. Because what happens is some people get to the top and then they don't play anymore and they just hold the rank.
Yeah,
and I know Splatoon kind of takes care of that a bit because they degrade your rank if you don't keep playing. So like if you get X rank, you can lose X rank if you don't keep playing because only so many X rank players can exist. So someone else can pass you, and that's that. So you can't just sit on it. You have to keep playing to hold it. And maybe that's something they'll do here, like the absolute top scores you can get. You have to keep playing or you're going to lose it. But I do like seasons. I understand why some people get annoyed by it because they feel like they lose all their progress. I guess it depends. If there's personally, if they put like a reward system in there, I don't know what it would be.
Maybe just like an exclusive skin or something for participating in the season.
Which I mean, again, I'm not saying I like that stuff, but if it's just a skin, who cares?
Or some Nintendo.
Just something that signifies you were in the top 100 players last season.
Yeah.
Well, they can do it just for like participating. Like Overwatch does, everyone gets the spray and the portrait. But like if you're top 500, then you get the animated spray and the cooler portrait.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's all about just what the community cares about, and it's weird because, as I said, a lot of the community there's a lot of people excited about Smash, and we're going to get to the parts here that they're actually pretty pumped about. That I think everyone is, because competitive, non-competitive doesn't matter. There's some stuff going on with this game everyone's excited about, but a lot of the basic Smash stuff, people are kind of like, why are you messing with things that are tried and true and work?
Yeah.
That being said, I guess to kind of swing this around to a more positive note, so they unveiled a new mode in Spirits. I'm still not 100% on it. I mean, forget the other stuff, the World of Light stuff. We'll get to in a little bit. Like the base premise of like a Spirit is it replaces the trophy system, and you basically have slots on your character, and you can like equip a Spirit to gain a bonus. Some sort of attack bonus or item bonus or speed bonus,
jump
etc.
bonus, yeah.
And then that individual spirit has slots you can put sub-spirits into, and that gives you additional bonuses, etc. It reminds me a lot of like Splatoon, where like you get a shirt that has base stats, and then you can like earn, random stat bonuses over time. Except it's not random because you get to choose. So it kind of reminds me of that. So I'm not really surprised there's a system like that. But I mean, it's completely new to Smash. I've never done something like this where there's a lot of like character customization, in like this way. And I don't know if this is going to carry over to the competitive scene at all or have any play in that. But it could.
Yeah.
I mean, it does in
This will be
Splatoon.
competitive, because Smash Run and Smash Tour, I don't think were competitive outside. I think it was Smash Run on the 3DS was the mode where that was really fun. A lot of people did it just because it was a fun mode to play.
Yeah, so I mean, what are you guys thinking about just this base premise of Spirits before we get to like the big surprise? Like these kind of RPG-esque, I guess, upgrades you can do.
Go for it.
All right, I don't think it's terrible. I think it's a better idea than having the trophies. So I understand the trophies, you got to model it because they got to be full 360 models. So this saves a lot of time by just making them essentially like PNG files, where they're just up there, and then put the random stats on it. I wonder if there's still going to be like the descriptions or anything for them. That was kind of the best part of trophies. So as long as that's there, I think a lot of people will be happy with it. But like the battling, again, it's just Smash Run and Smash Tour, but instead of equipping just the direct upgrades, you're just equipping characters with the upgrades on them. So I guess time will tell how much the seeds play.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, what do you think about it, Eric?
I think
it's different. We've never had anything like it before.
Interesting concept. I could see it going both ways. Either people are going to really like it, or people are going to really hate it.
Thing.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that that's connected to all of this that they teased towards the end, really right at the end of the Direct. Obviously, we're talking about the World of Light thing. If you haven't watched the Direct, you could just Nintendo actually uploaded an individual trailer for it as well. It's on Twitter, it's on Facebook, it's on YouTube. So you can go watch just the World of Light trailer, which was, I don't want to say the surprising story mode for the game, because people were kind of expecting a story mode. I don't know that people were expecting this. First off, before we get into what the actual mode appears to look like, that opening animation.
You're right.
My word.
What was it, Shulk's powers, where you see the time jump literally happening?
Yeah. They Thanos the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was IGN who posted that, where it's like Thanos comes to the Nintendo universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Thanos snaps.
Crazy. I mean, just to describe like what happens, like there's like this mystical being doing whatever, all these seemingly master hands coming into play, and and all the characters are kind of talking to each other like, oh, each of us have to take out like 10 of those hands.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, oh, it shouldn't be a problem. We've done this kind of thing before.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, all the hands like peel off.
Yeah.
And it becomes like this mystical crap, and everyone dies. Literally, like everyone dies.
They don't die.
Well, they become spirits.
They become spirits.
But that's basically the idea, is that they all die. That's the base premise of it, besides a certain character. And that certain character is probably a character everyone should have expected to survive.
Had friends.
Yeah.
Can't make a friend circle anymore.
And that's Kirby. I mean, for those who don't know, like, Kirby has a very near and dearest place to Sakurai's heart. I might be even the first character he actually created as a game developer.
Wasn't Dreamland his first game he worked on?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was his very first one, but it's definitely his most notable for the beginning of his game career. And, man, like, so it made sense since Sakurai's working on this, and he cares a lot about, like, spoilers not getting out. That's why we don't really know much more. We know the setup for the story, but we don't really understand what's happening. I mean, we have guesses, time jump and all. Like, there's a zillion guesses, and we see a little bit how the story mode works a little bit, but we don't actually see how the story's progressing.
I mean, he literally said he's going to leave up everything to the imagination right now.
Yeah, well, he basically said, this is it. You're getting nothing else until the game launches, period. And we kind of said at the very beginning, too, like, this is the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Direct. And it's like, oh, we'll still get other teases. Sure, you might get, like, little art updates and stuff on the new characters they announced. But in terms of new information, I think it's it. You ain't getting nothing until the game comes out.
Right.
And you're done. Especially from the story mode. He hated how Subspace Emissary, people were live streaming it, and it got quote-unquote spoiled. People are going to live stream this as well. I think. But then again, he used to hate the competitive community, too. And now I don't know if he begrudgingly embraces it. Yeah. I'm not really sure. Like, Nintendo's like, hey, like, time to embrace this.
We can make money.
Then again, maybe his way of fighting back against that was screwing up the online.
Yeah, right.
It's like, fine, you're making me embrace this as For Glory at E3. Yeah, guess what? There's no For Glory in the game.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, I think it's man. I mean, that opening scene, and it's probably going to be in the game as well. If you don't want to watch it, because I'm sure it'll be in the like you don't make a CGI scene like that and not have it in the game. Man, I don't want to say I was surprised, because there was a lot of theories going around about spirits and how we had seen in prior trailers and stuff, and prior stuff where characters had seemingly been getting killed off. And how that might be a connection to this quote-unquote spirits thing that people kind of uncovered by trying to decode the blurred out mode. So I don't want to say I was surprised that, like, all the characters quote-unquote died, or, like, went into the spirit realm, or disintegrated. I don't know, whatever. Again, we don't know enough details to really know.
Did Luigi die again?
Luigi died.
Double died?
But just a crazy opening. Now, as for the actual mode, I mean, I'm very curious on your guys' thoughts on the actual mode. Because I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
I am too.
Yeah.
I think that's the point, was for us to all be confused.
Yes.
I mean, I get the point that, like, all the characters, basically, from what we can tell, all the characters they were killed, but then, like, their spirits were, like, overtaken, and they returned as, like, a dark version of themselves or something like that. That's what it looked like.
Let's talk about that image. Oh, my God.
Which
one? The one where all of them are standing there and they have the glowing red eyes.
Oh,
and it's like, oh my God, that is a fantastic image.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because it started with, like, the Mario amiibo or whatever, and all of a sudden it becomes the gold amiibo, and then it falls down and becomes, evil Mario, and you're just like, what? Okay. So then, obviously, the initial idea I got is, you must have to fight each individual one to win their souls back.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wondering.
So they can become themselves again, because we saw in the trailer, like, you were moving around with Kirby a lot, and then eventually you were moving with other characters. So obviously you saved characters along the way. So I think I understand that much of it.
Yeah.
But there's certain things happening that I don't get. And I'm confused.
What
there's, like, boss fights, apparently, it looks like. It looks like there's boss fights. I don't honestly know.
Yeah.
Still don't know what's up with the big bat. What is that thing even? A glowing ball with some weird things floating around it.
Yeah.
It's Otacon's new machine.
It's a what?
It's Otacon's new machine.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, no.
So, it's like, there's so much going on in this mode.
Yeah, right.
Like, part of me is like, that doesn't look that good. Because there's certain part, like there's like an overworld Mario-style map, it looks like. And you're going, like, level to level. And some of it's like really interesting, intricate art. Some of it's like looks like my kid drew it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand what's happening in most of this stuff. All I get is, I from what I could tell, you fight the other characters and get them back. I kind of get that, but I don't understand anything else going on in this mode.
Yeah. So what did they try to kind of mix Mario Party with Smash? And
I don't know. I don't, and that's the thing. It was intentionally vague.
Oh, no, I know.
He does not want us to know.
He said he's going to leave it up to your
they
imagination.
showed us teases.
Yeah.
Piece it together, and good luck figuring it out what it all means, because you're probably wrong.
Right.
It seemed like kind of like the new Mario Tennis, where you're kind of moving around the overworld.
Yeah.
I thought I saw like the buff symbols in there. I don't remember. I just saw it when I woke up. I haven't looked at it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
So
There's a lot of interesting stuff happening. Like, I'm sure by now people have probably broken down and found all the minute details, or they're still finding them.
Yeah.
By the time you guys hear this podcast, I'm sure there'll be a zillion. Game Explain will probably have out their 17-hour analysis of the 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, Game Explain put out, what was it, a 2-hour analysis of like a 30-second Zelda trailer.
Oh,
so,
Lord.
like,
wow.
17 hours might be underselling what they're about to pull off. And they have to somehow get it done before the game launches, so good luck to them.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things they do, by the way. They really, they don't... I'm not going to say they never miss a detail, but it's by the time they're done analyzing, they catch everything.
Oh, yeah, they go all out. I love their channel.
Yeah, a lot of it, they speculate, of course, but beyond the speculation, if you just look at, they're just pointing, this thing's here, this is here, what does it mean? We don't know. Here's some thoughts. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Let's move on. Look at this. This little detail. Did you notice this little blurred thing out in the background? Well, if you enhance. That looks like something from another game that was not even mentioned and isn't even one of the characters, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Oh, is Dracula really the puppet of all this stuff? And blah, blah, blah.
If we go and pull this thing back that we mentioned 3 hours ago.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, they go all... Their analysis machine things are probably the number... I don't really care about watching their re-uploads of trailers, or... I don't really care about watching their live streams, which is just straight up gameplay of stuff. I don't really care about a lot of Game Explain's content because I don't want to say I find a lot of it redundant, but a lot of it's just whatever. They're reporting news like me. Okay, cool. A lot of places get it up before them, so it's not really a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. And then they do. I do like their gameplay previews. Their gameplay previews are pretty cool because they end up getting review copies of everything. But their analysis machine is why I'm subbed to them. Mm-hmm. So, if and when they analyze this, you guys should go check it out. Heck, maybe I'll even share it on our community page because dude, their work is fantastic on it. It's something I wish I had the technical know-how and the I don't even say technical know-how. Had the ability to not overlook things.
Time?
No, time. I got time. The ability to analyze the way they do is special because you have to be able to notice all those details. And to notice all those details, one, might require a knowledge of Nintendo IP that I just don't have. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that I, or things in general, like the fact I didn't know what that thing was flying in the air. Other people do know.
Yeah. No one knows what that is.
Yeah, I know, but they have ideas of what things are based around. There's so I even look at the character list and sometimes I don't recognize some of the characters on the 74 character list. Anyways, I know who all the characters are and what IPs they go to, but it's just kind of some of them I just don't play, so I don't recognize them as much. Street Fighter, as an example, I'm not a Street Fighter guy. I know it's Ken and Ryu. I've seen them in Street Fighter forever. But I don't play Street Fighter, so I don't go through the character screen and instantly write, oh, that's Ken, that's Ryu. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Mario, that's Link. Of course I recognize those. Yeah. Man, I don't know what to think of this mode. It has me excited. It has me. Here's a word. Here's a word I don't use. It has me titillated.
Ooh. Throwing the titillation around.
I am completely titillated. Sakurai did it to me. He found a way. You know what? Beyond that, he found a way to fondle my balls.
Ooh.
And now I'm not sure what to do with that. And now you guys don't know what to do with that image either.
That's the feeling of you wanting to put $60 on your credit card to pre-order the game.
Yeah. Yeah, what, to get the piranha plant?
Yeah.
So, okay, you know what? Let's get to how they're handling DLC.
Yeah.
Piranha Plant first off, because it's quote unquote free if you buy the game before the end of January or like up to the last day of January. Why isn't it just free? Period. Like after it comes out in February, just make it. It's just then a day one download for anyone who buys Smash after that. Why? I mean, are they gonna charge? Or is it just not gonna be available after?
Yeah, I don't know.
Makes no sense.
If you lock a character behind DLC that you actually can't get, then you're gonna get a lot of problems from your fans.
I mean, the idea is they want to encourage as many people to buy the game as fast as possible. That's what they're trying to do.
Right.
They want everyone to buy it in December and January. They want to sell 10 million copies.
Right. I can understand. Doing this to get the copies sold, and then like a month or two into gameplay, they'll probably end up selling it like the other.
I guarantee they're going to sell it individually.
Yeah, like the other DLCs.
I don't know when, but they'll sell it individually eventually. I would imagine, anyways, because if you can only get it in a 2-month window,
individual.
Like imagine the people that are going to be like, "Oh, but I got it for summer, for my birthday." And you're telling me I can't have that character that I saw in the trailer that looks really cool?
Yeah. Right.
Like, that's going to piss some people off.
I didn't have the money right now, but I will.
Like, some people don't have the money over the holidays because guess what? They're buying stuff for everyone else.
Yeah.
Man. It's, I don't like that decision. Let's just put it that way. I like the character. I think it's a very interesting, very unique, very unexpected, which would probably be expected at this point because that's what Sakurai does.
Yeah.
But man, I don't like the handling of that at all. That's like my biggest criticism of anything they're doing with the DLC, is I do not like that.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the rest of their DLC, very straightforward this time. I wonder if they listened to my complaints when I had that debate with OJ. Because I was debating about, Nintendo becoming the next EA. Not that they were, but Smash was kind of at the center of my argument, how they handled DLC on the Wii U and 3DS version.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't really a pack you could buy that would give you all the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy individuals. You could buy individual packs that contain select characters and stages. But there was no way to buy all of it in one go. So there was no way to be like when they released DLC for Mario Kart 8 on Wii U, where you $20 season pass, get all the content.
Right.
Hyrule Warriors, $20, get all the content.
Right.
There was nothing like that in Smash. It was piecemeal content here, sell combinations here, different combination there. And by the end of it, you end up spending $100 to get everything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's if you're someone that cares about getting everything. Of course, you might not care about that, but I think the way they're doing it now is much more streamlined, much more straightforward. At least for now. We'll see what happens after they're done with this DLC. But right now, plan.
I imagine it's going to be kind of like Rainbow Six Siege, where it's like year 1 DLC, year 2 DLC, and then there's the Golden Edition, which gets you everything.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't like how that works either, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not bad, because I understand it takes a lot of time and money to make the characters.
Sure.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing a season pass that gets you everything, where it's just each.
You know what I also understand? Nintendo's still going to be selling this game for $60 for the next 6 years.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So here's my thing. Here's my counter argument always to these DLC things and adding content in. You're still going to be charging $60 for the next 4 years. We know Smash Bros. As an IP is an evergreen title that continues to sell well every single month. You don't need to charge for DLC when you're still making money off the game every single month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they don't need to, but they're
going to.
They're going to.
But that's what I'm saying. That it takes time, it takes money, and you're getting that money every month without anyone spending anything on DLC. Like, what is it? The numbers just came out in their fiscal update. Did you know every single month this year, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is selling 400,000 copies worldwide? Every single month.
Good lord.
Yeah.
They're getting money every single month for a game without charging DLC for it right now. But obviously, companies want all the money, and that's just the way it is. And the reason people give Smash Bros. A pass usually is because every other fighting game does it.
Yep.
So Smash, of course, is going to do it. And my argument has always been, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. So just because everyone, one of my moms always say, hey, if everyone jumps out of a plane without a parachute, are you going to jump out too? I'm like, I don't know.
Maybe. Depends
Maybe.
on how I'm
And then
feeling
I
that
get
day.
slapped.
Yeah,
Then I get
depends
slapped.
on how I'm feeling that day.
Does my parachute get me Waluigi?
Wow.
What?
Oh,
What did you say?
I forgot.
Lost your train of thought?
I did.
Damn Waluigi.
I know.
So how they're handling the DLC, for those that aren't aware, is there's basically 5 individual like pieces of DLC.
Oh, yeah.
So there's 5 new characters, 5 new stages, and then some music. And 1 character, 1 stage, and some music are all paired together in each one. I believe the price was $5.99 for each one. So that's one way to get it. So if you only want 1 character or 1 stage and they happen to be paired together, you can just get that and ignore the rest. I'm fine with that. I don't like if that was the only way they delivered the content.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully they didn't. They have announced it'll all be packaged together. You can get everything for 1 set price of like $24.99, which leads to like $5 saved overall. So it's not huge savings over buying them all individually, but it is savings.
Yeah.
And it's a convenient way to get everything at once. And yes, I think you can already like I saw some places already taking pre-orders for it. So you're going to be able to buy it now. You're going to be able to buy it day 1 without even knowing what the characters are. Some people aren't really into that, but you know what?
It's blind faith, but
That's the way season passes and stuff work too. They could tell you like a rough idea of what it's going to be, but no one really knows what the content is till you get it.
Right.
So it's hard for me to fault them for
and
that.
They even said in there it's basically blind faith that you're hoping that they come out with characters that you like.
Sure. And that is why I'm acceptable. I'm accepting of how they're handling DLC this time because 1, we know there's 5 characters, we know it's 5 stages, we know it's music, and we know you can get it all for 1 price.
They said they weren't doing echoes too, right?
What?
I believe they said they weren't doing echoes for DLC.
Correct.
Yeah. No,
they're not doing echoes.
Nope, they're all new characters. So they're brand new characters, brand new stages, new-ish music anyways. And that's all great and dandy. You get it all for 1 price. And if for some reason you don't want all of it and you just want the 1 character, you can buy it individually and save yourself money. So that was always my like they listened. This is what I said back during the whole debate over, how Nintendo was handling DLC with Wii U and 3DSs. It was expensive as hell to get everything. There wasn't like a $25 price to just get everything. It didn't exist. You had to spend almost $100 to get everything.
Right.
And that made me mad. Now, granted, you could argue maybe we're getting less content this time. And this is what your point was: sure, this content, by the way, they will have all 5 characters released by like February 2020 or whatever. So that means there could be a second round of stuff, maybe. Which could cost you another $25, and you might end up getting up to the point that it's $100 for everything again.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of like
$100 game if you get the season pass and online just to play it for a year.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes, though. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, if they're gonna do like $25 every year for new stuff, it's kind of like
right.
I'm not saying that it's not worth it, but it's kind of like, man. My big argument before was the content you're buying isn't proportionate to the content you get in the game, right? So, like, people argue about, oh, well, that's 5 new characters and 5 new stages. And like you just argued, that's new characters, new stages. It's a lot of work. You have to understand how much work it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the same amount of work when they added the original characters to the game as it is today, and I only paid $60. So why am I paying $100 for less content?
Yeah.
Than what you got for $60? That was my biggest argument against what they did with Smash Bros. So you're telling me that because they put all this work into this stuff, didn't they already do that and charge me less?
Well, the game would have been delayed if they added all that stuff.
Sure. No. I'm not saying the DLC shouldn't exist. My argument back then was that it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shouldn't cost that much. Proportionate to what you got in the game, it shouldn't cost that much. And it didn't help that there was no convenient way to buy everything. There was like, well, if you buy these 4 bundles or these 3 bundles, you have everything. Yeah, for $80. Thanks. Yeah. And that's for one version of the game. It does not come for the 3DS version. You got to buy it all over again. So it's just.
Well, I did.
But again, that's not an issue this time.
I remember what I was going to say.
What?
Because you remember how you were saying how all fighter games do this. Well, we can just use Nintendo's words. We don't pay attention to what others do.
Ah, right? We do our own thing.
We do our own thing. We don't pay attention to what others do.
That's why we charge for online.
Yeah, wait.
But then we made it way worse than everyone else that charged.
Right? They really didn't
but
pay
it's
attention
cheaper,
to that.
so that's okay.
Yeah.
As everyone said, it's cheaper, so that makes it okay.
No.
Just because it's cheaper doesn't make crappy service okay.
Right.
Like, it was crappy service when it was free. Charging me for it now doesn't
Make it any
make it any better. Like,
Yeah.
anyways,
But, no, it's just...
I'm glad there's DLC coming. I'm glad they made it more streamlined and convenient this time. We know the timeline. We know it's new characters, not echoes. So they fixed almost all the complaints I had. So yeah, the price comparison, it's hard, when you think, I get 74 characters for 60 with 100 plus stages, and I get, only 5 characters and 5 stages for 25, but not all the stages and all the characters were new in the original. So you kind of just find that fine balance where, you know what, I think it's okay since you know everything you're getting, you know the price point. You could think it's too expensive, but at least this isn't what EA would do, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
They
would be
learn.
charging you for the stages separately.
Yeah, they
learn. They would charge you for each song separately.
Oh, dude, you know how bad? Like, if you ever go look up the bundles and all the individual DLC, like they had combos of characters, they had combos of characters and stages, they had combos of just stages, they had combos of music. You could buy individual stages and individual characters. And none of it ever added up to where you can get everything at once. It was always all these different bundles. And even then, some of the bundles overlapped with their content, so it made no sense. Yeah. And you're just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
It's just, we're going to make as many combinations of content as we can to get as much money as we can. And that was my problem.
I just paid for this character 3 times.
EA would piecemeal and do all this stuff to get as much money as they can. Yeah. And I literally sat down and wrote down what it would take to buy everything individually versus what it would take to buy all the bundles. And the individual cost versus the bundles, you save like $5 if you buying the bundles over buying everything individually. And on 3DS, I think it actually costed more to get everything through bundles than to buy it individually.
That's hilarious.
And like everything was about money.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I sat there and I remember in the debate with OJ, I kept looking at you can't tell me what you got for $100 is remotely price comparable to what you got for just buying the game.
Right.
Like, it's like 25 for right now for what we get isn't price comparable, but at least we know it's all new content, no echoes.
Right.
And convenient. And you're getting everything. Versus, people thought, when Cloud and everything was added and there was like this bundle, that's everything until they add more. They add more. Until they add more.
Yeah.
And before you know it, they just, Fortnited you, except you also paid $60 for the game.
Right.
Still, 4 years later.
Right.
Oh, Nintendo. But anyways, I honestly think if there's anything I can say I feel about Smash after this is I'm excited. I can't wait to dive especially into that Spirits mode and the World of Light stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff to take in.
This, I don't know. This has to be the biggest fighting game ever. Not just in terms of roster, in terms of content, in terms of modes.
Yeah.
Even just the trophy. They got Virtual Fighter in there somehow. When I saw that, I was like, really? How did that get in there?
Like,
yeah, right?
It's overwhelming how much is in this game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to take me years to get through everything.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that I don't get bored along the way at some point and stop.
There was a game theory video that ran the math on it.
Jeez. That's the thing. I'm excited, but I'm also like dreading how overwhelming it's going to be. I like that it starts with the OG characters, the OG original starting.
Yeah.
But it's also like, but I know there's like 70 more of you coming.
You're right.
Constantly unlocking you through all the various modes.
And hopefully, I can't remember who said that, but hopefully it's a little bit more straightforward on how to actually unlock
they
characters.
mentioned it was going to be more streamlined than before. Yeah. But, I mean, I'm sure with how much content and how many modes there are, you're still probably going to have to play a whole bunch of different modes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It's just not, I think they said they were going to take some of the guesswork out of it. Because a lot of it was like, so if I take this character and I go through all this stuff, do I unlock them? You didn't really know till you did it. Whereas I think here, there might even be a checklist or something that might include that. That'll make it easier.
Is it through the comic book thing they showed? Or is that just like the, it used to be like the achievements in the other one? Not the trophies, what was it, the puzzle?
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yep.
That looks cool, though.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
Like a lot of the things look cool. Some of it looks like completely overwhelming, way over my head, stuff I don't care about. Dude. Here's the thing. I if I'm going to be critical of anything, because Some people have mentioned one of the biggest criticisms they have for this game is that outside of the spirits mode, outside of the World of Light mode, I should say, the World of Light sub part of the spirits, that we know everything about the game. And some people are like, why do we know everything? And when I say everything, we know how to set the brightness in the options menu.
Yeah. And has two separate brightness settings.
Why do we know this?
Oh, because?
Why do we need the options menu explained to us?
Because options are optional.
I need the option and the help menu. Like, they spent more time on options
and help
really menu than they did on several of the other things that people actually care about.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right.
It was like 8 minutes on options in the help menu. And I'm just like, these are things that games have that no one just... Who talks about this stuff before a game comes out?
Right.
Sakurai.
like, this is just like saying, hey, you know what? This game's coming to PC. Let's go through all the PC settings menus and show you how you can turn on, FXAA and AA and SXAA. Oh, and by the way, you could turn on trilinear filtering or turn it off. You can turn on Hairworks in this game. Like, no one talks about this shit. It's just there. Everyone knows option menus have options in them.
People go in and just screw around with them to see what things do.
Unless it's something to brag about.
Yeah.
Like Hairworks. We did hear about Hairworks for like The Witcher 3 bbefore it came out because that was like a new technology to brag about.
Right.
But we didn't hear about, you can change your resolution. And of course you can.
Whoa.
Did you know you could change the brightness of your games? Of course. Did you know you could do that without even going in the game and just go through the Switch options?
Yeah.
But
this one gives you a docked and undocked brightness setting.
Oh my god.
That you still probably... So make sure you set it and save it. Because, you won't ever, if you're outside, have to change your brightness.
No, never.
No.
You never need to worry about your lighting outside to change your brightness. I don't know. I think of that. If I have any criticism, it's that. It's not that we know everything, I guess. It's the amount of detail that went into things that we did not need to know.
Right.
We just didn't. It did nothing. It did not need to be part of these giant, massive directs. Fine, you want to release a dang blog post about it because for some reason you're super proud of 2 brightness settings, then okay. Release a blog post about it and let people talk about it if they feel like it. Don't put it in a major direct where everyone's looking forward to new characters and whatever the hell Spirits mode is.
Right.
It was such a time waster.
Kinda.
I mean, it was only like a minute though. They really talked about it. It wasn't terrible.
It was a long. It was a long.
They talked about it a couple times, like the options menu. They had that in there like 2 or 3
Well, there was
times.
the options and the help menu.
Yeah.
So there was 2 different ones, and they went into each one, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the rules and tips, like they didn't have to talk about that.
Yeah. Oh, did you know you could turn items on and off? Like, yes,
Yeah.
you've been able to do that since the N64.
Whoa.
Yes, I didn't need to know that. And it's like, I understand there'll be new players, but it's like, come on.
Wait.
Are you not going to leave anything for anyone to find out?
So wait. This is gonna be an interesting case. If you have your items turned off, but your online preferences are to play with items, how does that work?
Oh, geez. So last thing I want to briefly bring up, this news kind of came after the fact because there was the Treehouse stuff, and there really wasn't a lot of new stuff in the Treehouse. New gameplay, of course, for things like Yoshi, Diablo, some of the Diablo stuff we've seen from other people covering the game. And obviously there's no spoilers in Diablo because it's been out since 2012, so we know everything.
Yeah.
Well, there might be something tomorrow about it.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm crossing my fingers.
But the big thing that came to me was actually news that came after the fact, and this deals with the Pokemon franchise.
Whoa.
Masuda is stepping down.
Huh?
As
No?
director.
I just
of the
thought he
Pokemon.
said it was going to be his last one directing.
Yeah, he's stepping down.
stepping
That's what
down.
I didn't finish. Yeah, he's stepping down as director, and he wants to allow the younger developers to come up and make the franchise their own. Now we don't know if that means after next year's games because we know those are already in development, or if he just means the Let's Go games. We're not really sure because he didn't clarify if he meant the Let's Go games were his last ones as director or the games next year. He didn't clarify. Nobody asked him to clarify. No one even asked him to say this. He just wanted to announce it. It was in a blog post on the Pokemon website.
All right, then.
So he was basically announcing that he's stepping down as director. And I am kind of like he's kind of been there like the whole time. And I know some people are happy. I saw some people very happy because they feel like he's to blame for the casualization of the games. I mean, I got to say something about this.
Casualization of the games?
As someone who loved Gen 1 and Gen 2 and all that stuff, they were casual back then too.
Yeah, I was going to say they've always been
They've
casual.
always been casual. The problem is this is what happened with Smash as well, is that a competitive scene popped up. And the competitive scene thinks everything should be about them. And so the Smash scene's not as bad about it. Smash scene's basically, as long as you give us the tools we need to do what we want to do competitively, we're pretty much happy about it. And this is why they're mad about the online thing, because that's not the way they want online
As long
to
as
be.
you give us the GameCube controller, we're fine.
Yeah. Oh, God. Die already! Anyways. Basically, as long as they get the GameCube controller, as long as they can turn items off, as long as they have Battlefield / Final Destination stages, and they're pretty much happy.
Yeah.
I mean, they want certain things with characters, like no tripping and like whatever. Oh, yeah. Fine. But as long as they basically get the premise of how they want to do things, they'll be happy. Everything else, they're fine with it existing. They don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
The problem with the Pokemon games is it's hard for the competitive scene has to overlap with everything else because of how Pokemon games work. You can't just like change the rule set of Pokemon.
Yeah.
To fit a competitive scene. It just doesn't work without changing the whole game. So what happened is basically the guy running it doesn't really give two craps about the competitive scene. He cares about just making a good Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And that clashed with people who take Pokemon super seriously and do like there's just like with Smash, there's esports around Pokemon and actual cash money on the line, and I understand getting frustrated about it. But man, can we show some respect for this guy?
All right.
Like, yes, there were other people that have retired from Pokemon over the years that were probably just as important, especially in the early years. But this guy's been there the whole time. The only reason your competitive scene exists is because this guy. Well, not the only, but one of the primary reasons is because of what this guy has done for the IP, what he's done for the franchise.
Was he the one who, when that one PC crashed, was he the one that was going around?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
He was the one who gave the quote about it. I don't know if he was one.
Yeah, I don't know if he was the. Yeah, he was around back then.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Because I know we touched on that at one point.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was him that was
on
actually physically the one that went in and dug deep and tried to pull everything back.
I mean, he was part of everything back then, but I don't remember. And when we all know, out of these, if you don't know, Satoru Iwata deserves a lot of credit as well. Because everyone knows about how he made Smash Bros. Run and everything, but what people sometimes forget is that he actually reprogrammed Pokemon to make it work.
Oh yeah, he's the reason Gen 1 is in Gen 2, or the whole map.
Yeah. Yeah, like he did things with the games that they didn't think were possible. He fixed an issue and then went further in and realized, hey, you can do all this too. Did you know that? No? Oh, well, I did it for you. But that's the one side of Iwata that I don't think anyone questioned ever in his career, was that he's just a brilliant coder.
Yeah.
Like maybe one of the best video game coders of all time. Just up when you're looking to be a game developer at the programming level, like he's the kind of person you aspire to be that brilliant, to understand the hardware that well, to do things that other developers can't even see as a possibility. It can't happen. Like if you're at EA and you're like, we can't get Frostbite to run, give Iwata a day.
Yeah, right.
And he'll have it running on Switch, no problem. Like that's just how brilliant of a coder he was. Rest in peace, man. But I think this does a couple of things for me. One, obviously we don't know where the future of the franchise is going to go.
Right.
What new directors and what direction they're going to take it in. Could be exciting, could be scary. It's one of those things some people said, yeah, you might be celebrating now, but wait till we get 3 Pokemon games from now and you're begging for him to come back. Because you have no idea what the younger guys are going to do.
Yeah.
We don't know what Pokemon's going to be without him directing anyways.
Paid DLC.
It could go that way.
pack
I
of
imagine he's still going to be a producer for quite a while, or
Sure.
some sort of.
But here's the
It's not gonna
thing.
change radically.
What you find out, at least this is what I found out covering Nintendo stuff for all this time. As producer, you don't really do much.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I'm not saying that like, as in you don't have an important job, but your job is to oversee basically the entirety of the brand. So when you're no longer directing the individual games, your say over those games is very minimal. Yeah, you get to play the builds, sure. You get to give some feedback, but you don't decide the directions of the games. You don't decide the story. You don't decide anything. You just get feedback. That's what Miyamoto was doing forever until Eiji Aonomo took over as the producer of the Zelda series. And now a lot of games that he gets a ton of credit for, he didn't actually do a lot of that work. Breath of the Wild is an example. His crowning achievement, he wasn't the director of it. He didn't actually do a lot of the work on it. And you could tell in some of the interviews when he was talking about it, there's these things he was proud of and this and that, but he didn't really have much to do with it. He just gave his feedback, and that doesn't. By the way, this isn't me downplaying the role of producers.
No, for sure.
Producers have, like, they work the longest hours of anyone.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I mean, we're talking 100-hour work weeks regularly, regardless if a new game's coming out or not, because there's way more going on with the Zelda IP than just Breath of the Wild at the time. Way more going on with Mario than just Mario, just Mario games. So, like, this isn't underplaying it, but what it's saying is the directors are the ones that ultimately give. They're the directors.
They have to be the creative sign-offs.
Yeah, the producers sign off. The directors give basically the directors sell their vision to the producer, and the producer says, "Yeah, do it." So the producer can technically shoot down everything, but they usually don't, or you wouldn't be a director. They're not going to pick directors that they don't think are going to make games that are good.
Right.
Otherwise, you won't be in that job.
Or either that, or they'll take it and go, maybe have you thought about trying to do this tweak to that?
So, what this reminded me of, because obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Pokemon. We can't know until we get there, is a lot of the IPs we're even talking about, Super Smash Bros., Masahiro Sakurai, Pokemon, Masuda, even pretty much anything Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto. They're getting old. Like, most of them are already at retirement age, and they're still going. Is there any concern over, say, like, the future of Pokemon, the future of Smash Bros? What if this is Sakurai's last Smash Bros game? People don't like to talk about that because, there'll be more Smash Bros. Of course there'll be more Smash Bros games. The question is, will there be more Sakurai-led Smash Bros games?
Right.
When's Eiji Aonuma going to step down from the Zelda franchise? He's already moved beyond directorial stuff to producer, and when's he going to step down from that role? Because he's already talked about how he wants to make other games besides Zelda before he's done making games. Sakurai's talked about how he wants to do more than just Smash before he's done making games. And he has, to his credit, Kirby, he did the Kid Icarus Uprising, I think was the last game he made that wasn't Smash. But he doesn't do it as often as he would like before he's done and he retires. And we all know about his health issues with his hands and stuff. We haven't heard too many complaints this time around. I think and I think that's also telling for Smash Bros. That since we're not hearing all these complaints from Sakurai about his health, tells me that he's delegating more than he's ever done before.
Right.
He had that joke in the direct. What did he say? He'd never be done with his work?
Yeah, never be done. Because that's just the way he is. He's a meticulous. No one doubts how hard Sakurai works.
Right.
But I feel like because there's no complaints on his health, that he's probably trying to let people do a bit more than they used to. A big thing with him is he would never let anyone else balance characters but him. But I'm wondering if now he's like, well, you know what? I'm not going to do this forever. I have to start, I'll oversee, but I have to start letting other people do it too. And again, we don't know yet because we don't have all the interviews down and everything about how this game was made, and we're not going to know for months. But it feels like to me that we're reaching this stage in at least Nintendo gaming where everything's going to start kind of entering a new era of unknowns and uncertainties.
Well, Mario's actually kind of been there since kind of Sunshine Galaxy 2, since Koizumi's been doing a lot of the directing and work. More story focus.
And he's getting old as well. Yeah. He's been around forever. There's also, what's the guy, the Zuka guy?
Takahashi or no? Am I thinking of someone else?
And maybe it was Takahashi. I'm trying to remember. There was he was the director of Link's Awakening before moving on to the Mario franchise. anyways, basically all of the games that we know and love from Nintendo, from the Pokemon, even from HAL Laboratories and all that stuff, were made by these legends in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
That are legends for a reason, because their time's coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, as their time's coming to an end, we'll talk, when Miyamoto eventually retires. I don't know if he'll ever retire fully. He might always stay as a figurehead.
Mm-hmm.
And just, he's done when he passes away, which will be a very sad day. Because he's at least he projects himself as such a happy guy. None of us really know.
Yeah, right.
But, and we'll cross each individual road when we get there, when they retire, blah, blah, blah. But we are at the road now of Pokemon, where he's not retiring, but he's stepping back from the direct control of the day-to-day.
Yes.
Over the games. So, I guess looking back, do you guys think that overall his legacy with the Pokemon games is one that, he'll be proud of it, but one that gamers will look back fondly on? Because I've seen a lot of hate for him today. A lot of people celebrating him stepping down.
That's crazy.
I think it's just with Let Go. It's something that fans don't really want. I mean, how many...
But the crap on someone's career.
I know, that's just sad.
Every Pokemon game every Pokemon game, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the ground floor, doing the grunt work.
Every Pokemon game has been pretty much fantastic. And, if not stellar. Sun and Moon was probably one of the best Pokemon game I've ever played. I think I put 40 hours into that game in 2 days. It was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is where we as a gaming community need to step back at times and just this is a more personal example. But let's just say one day I step away from my YouTube channel, right? I just decide I'm not going to do it anymore. There'll be people that will be celebrating. They'll be like, "Yay! I don't have to worry about him anymore. Worry about that fat ass. Worry about that Peter Griffin guy, talking nonsense out his ass or whatever." All the haters that are going to say what they say. But they, as much as they may hate, part of them's going to miss the content because, they were still getting entertained in some way, even if it was laughing at me, one way or another.
Yeah.
And then you have the other people that are going to be like, "Oh, I'm sad you're gone."
Yeah.
Then you have other people that won't even notice you're gone, especially if with video games it's a little different because it's virtual characters on the screen, whereas me, it's a personality-based thing, so you replace me, it changes the whole channel. But it's kind of that mindset of he walks away and people celebrate not his accomplishments, but they celebrate that this casual Pokemon horror is gone. And I'm just like, what kind of human being do you have to be to crap on someone's career that got you to be such a big fan of Pokemon in the first place?
It's the internet.
But it's such a large contingent.
It's
not
internet.
just
really
a minor
that much
amount of people.
for him stepping down. I haven't seen a lot of stuff negative, but I haven't really been digging for it.
Well, yeah, if you just read news
exciting.
articles and watch videos, those are for the most part respectful of what's happening. It's
right.
hey, this guy's.
That...
It's just Shigeru Miyamoto stepped down from the who's gonna get mad at him, except for the people that are hardcore into Zelda and either are pissed because they like the way Miyamoto did things, or they're celebrating because they are glad Miyamoto's gone so they could do something else.
Right.
And so, and it's funny too because the presumption is, oh, Masuda's gone, so now it won't be casual anymore. How do you know it's not going to get more casual?
Yeah, right.
How do you even know Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, as much as he might have been pushing for it? How do you know that other people weren't all on board with it?
Yeah.
And this just becomes the norm because this is what the young people enjoy.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard to say, too, with how many people are negative, because, there's, probably 15 million Pokemon fans and probably, 10 million...
Well, there's more than
don't
15
really know
million,
who Masuda is. They just kind of play the games and don't know the background.
Yeah. Well, that's a majority. A majority of people just play the games. They don't even know who made it. They don't even know it's made by Game Freak, for crying out loud.
Right.
I mean, it's just like when... here's a good correlation. Pokemon Go blows up. So instead of Niantic's stock going up, instead of the Pokemon Company's stock going up, Nintendo's stock goes up. The company that makes the least amount of money off of Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
The stockholders didn't even realize Nintendo has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, there's obviously a lot of people that don't pay it. Like, a lot of people don't know, like Breath of the Wild, that Eiji Aonuma is the producer.
Mm-hmm.
And ask them the director, they have no clue. Ask them the sound designer, they have no clue. Voice actors, they have no clue. And that's kind of just the reality. Industry, because it's a virtual thing. It's not like it's like movies in a sense. You know the actors and the actresses, but you don't always know. Even though they say it on screen, you don't always know who made it.
Everyone's mashing A through the credits.
Yeah,
checking Twitter.
Yeah, the only right, and the only reason you even know certain ones is because they put their name over everything. Like, why do you know Steven Spielberg? His name's on everything. Okay. Anything he touches, his name is used as an advertising point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like on the poster.
I think in general, my mom knows who Shigeru Miyamoto is.
Yeah.
My mom doesn't play games.
Yeah.
But she knows he made Mario. That's all she needs to know. Because what does Nintendo use him as for? A marketing person.
Yeah.
He's like Reggie Fils-Aimé. Actually, he's more than Reggie Fils-Aimé, because you see him at marketing more than Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be the people that transcend, like the Spielbergs, like George Lucas did for a little while.
John Williams.
Oh. Although I don't think John Williams has gotten to the levels of Spielberg in terms of recognition with the general populace. When you go out to moviegoers and you say John Williams, like if you say it like at MyCon, most people are gonna know who the fuck you're talking about. Whereas if you say Steven Spielberg, they'll be like, oh yeah, that guy that directed that one movie I like.
Yeah. But if you don't know who John Williams is, come on.
Then you're not really a cinephile, is what it really is, if you don't know John Williams. But
his music's fantastic.
But it's just like me. Like, I could say, then you're not really a Nintendo fan, or you're not really a Zelda fan if you don't know who Eiji Aonuma is. Like, no, you still can be. But I don't know. I just feel like at a time when someone is clearly reaching towards the end of their career, right? Like, he'll probably be a producer for another 10 years or so, whatever. But he's entering into a retirement kind of role. He's getting to that point where he's preparing Pokemon Company for the future that doesn't involve him. That's really what it is. I just gotta say, like, I have a lot of respect, even as someone who fell out of Pokemon over the years, and largely because a lot of the decisions he made. I still have a lot of respect for it. I mean, he maintained a franchise from the late '90s until 20 years later.
Well, I mean,
21 maybe if he's still directing next year's game.
Look at how much it's exploded, too.
It's always weird when we talk about Pokemon and exploded, since it's never been as popular as it was originally.
Yeah.
Pokemon has
but it's maintained.
It's half a fad. It's not it's not a fad, where it gets like an extra 10 million people sometimes, and then sometimes it's just like 10 million, where other times it's 20. It has that kind of big up and downs.
Sort of, except you're off on your figures. Sometimes it's 6 million, sometimes
well,
it's 15
true.
million.
I was just throwing out numbers.
So it'd be like, it's only been 20 million one time. It's only happened one time in the history of the franchise.
The first time, yeah.
Yeah, the first time. And that's the biggest Pokemon that had ever been at the traditional sense. It's been bigger since Pokemon Go is the biggest Pokemon's ever been. There's never been that many people playing a Pokemon game before until Pokemon Go. So you can argue we're already in the midst of the big... Like, Pokemon Go is still growing. So we're arguably in the midst of the biggest Pokemon's ever been anyways. In terms of recognition, at least. And that's strange, since like Pokemon's been a staple of pop culture now for a long time.
Right?
Especially Pikachu. I don't know anyone that, even if you don't like Pokemon, you know who Pikachu is.
Right.
Pikachu's everywhere.
Right.
So
Pikachu
I think that's the thing. Like, I give him all this credit because, like, regardless of what I think of individual games and why I don't play them anymore, it's still like, dude, he maintained an IP for that long, maintained it at a certain popularity level for that long. That's not an easy thing to do.
No.
A lot of IPs die out. I mean, look what was happening to Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Until the last two iterations. Like, it was going down the crapper. They were milking it. They weren't putting the attention to detail in it. They ran that franchise that was selling like 15 to 20 million per year into the ground, where it was selling paltry numbers in comparison. And then they said, look, we got to stop doing that. And they took a step back for a year and a half or so and tried to get it right. And for the most part, they did with the last one, and they kind of did with this one. Little issue with some monetization stuff, but otherwise still a pretty good game. So that
3-game cycle of Pokemon has kind of been like the perfect recipe, where it's like new gen, old gen remakes a new engine, third version, and then new gen, and there's kind of like a year gap. it's just been a successful cycle for them.
Yeah, and he's part of that. He made that a thing. He decided that is a good direction, even though it feels like you get Pokemon every year. Great. Every new gen seems to always sell really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing something right. Everything in
Yes.
between, maybe it's just to carry sales in between. Doesn't really matter. It works.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Pokemon's going to be a big part of Switch.
Yeah.
Regardless of, say Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee only does like 5 million. It's still 5 billion.
Yeah.
And the new gen Pokemon's still around the corner that might do 15 to 20.
I can't wait to see the numbers for what Pokemon end up doing on the Switch. It's going to be so interesting to see whether or not Go can move units and whether or not the new gen can actually move units and how much it sells.
Well, I think the new gen will move units just because a lot of people view Switch as a portable for obvious reasons. And just like every other portable it's ever been on, it always moves units. It's like the best system seller Nintendo's ever had in terms of their portable handhelds.
Yeah, there's not been a price drop on Switch yet, which I thought there would have been before Let's Go comes out, just to help move units more.
Yeah, there's not a price drop. There are some Black Friday deals coming out. Target's ad basically leaked. There'll probably be more ads leaked by the time you guys hear this.
Yeah.
But like they have a Switch bundle on Black Friday for $300 that includes Mario Kart 8. And that's the cheapest. You've never been able to buy a Switch for $300 and get a game. Just it's never happened.
But the core system itself isn't cheap though. It's not like that $99 2DS.
Oh no, and it's not going to be that cheap for years. I mean, the thing is, like, you talk about, like, oh, isn't that such an amazing deal? I'm like, well, you can also get the new Spider-Man game with the PlayStation 4 for $200 on Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But again, that's also been out in the market for a lot longer.
Right.
But the fact is, we're in the second holiday, and now we're starting to get bundles, at least around the holidays, that are slightly cheaper. Still not really going below the $300,
Mm-hmm.
but maintaining it, I guess. And I don't think it's going to drop below $300 until we get a revision
Right.
next
It's
year.
gonna be a
or
Wii U.
whenever.
It's gonna be a game and a system for like $300.
Sure.
Maybe $250.
Well, yeah, they'll maintain that 300 as long as they can. But I think whenever they release a revision, you might see stores that have individual units still start discounting them. $50 or something.
Yeah.
And there's always the possibility Nintendo could sell a dockless version at some point.
Yeah.
And that alone's going to cut price off.
Yeah.
Unless they're like, we'll sell a dockless, but we're going to bundle in 4 games that aren't selling anymore.
Yeah, right.
To make it 300.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't care about these
We're
games.
going to bundle in a year-long subscription to the Nintendo Switch Online service. No, they'll just Xbox Live it. They'll give you a month or a week.
Right. Yeah, right.
Or they already give you a free week, so it's got to be longer than that.
Yeah, right.
No, they advertise it as you buy this bundle, you get a free week, but everyone gets a free week.
So does that mean
It's kind of like the Fortnite bundle. See, Fortnite bundle is actually the first bundle to come with a game, but it's a free game everyone can have. You're paying for the picture on the box. There's no custom console.
Does it?
You get your one free costume.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you get your one free piece of DLC.
Do they actually charge more for that?
No.
Okay, good.
That one's $300. But it's like, so technically
wait,
there's
wait.
been a $300.
Wait. But
With
so
the
what
game.
is it without the game again?
What?
Just the Switch, just normal Switch.
300.
300.
Okay.
Yeah, same as when we bought it
Okay.
last year. Yeah.
Okay.
Switch price has not gone down.
Yeah, right.
This Black Friday is the first
Yeah.
time you can argue it's gone down because now you can get a bundled in game. For
Right,
300.
right.
And there'll probably be other ones. I'm sure there'll be a Breath of the Wild one for 300 as well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I was like, okay, well, yeah, watch. It's like $280. Man, we'll sell it with Fortnite bundle for $300. Wait, what? Wait, what?
you get that free piece of DLC
Yeah. Wait.
for $20 extra.
What?
So yeah, I mean, and Nintendo maintains their prices for a while. Basically, as long as Switch's momentum's fine, they'll keep it up there. As soon as it dips, they'll drop the price.
Not by much.
And
Just enough
the
to-
Switch, a new version of Switch will be the big thing because the new version of Switch will initially release a little bit more expensive, and then come down. And then when that comes down to 300, the OG Switch will drop like a rock. It's kind of like
sure.
the new 3DS XL came out was $50-$60 more expensive. Dropped down to the base 200 price. Everything else dropped down like $50.
Yeah, I imagine when the new Switch comes out, probably in the summer, and Pokemon's come out in the fall, the baseline Switch will probably be around 2 to 150.
Yeah, it's all going to be about sales momentum and what they think is best and what's best for maintaining multiple SKUs. Because in the past, the new SKU has seemingly always cannibalized the old SKU. But we'll see. I also, as I said, like if they take the old SKU and they get rid of the dock and just sell it on its own, and they can get that down to 150, 100, like that's gonna be their 2DS.
Yeah,
that's gonna be their 2DS then. They're a budget entry to get in. Mm-hmm. You want the pro level one, 300, 350, whatever. But
and just weld the Joy-Cons on so you can sell it to kids and it doesn't break.
No
free marketing.
No. If they have it so the Joy-Cons are molded onto it, they can't play half of the games on Switch. No, the Joy-Cons have to be detachable. You know what's funny?
Buy separate Joy-Cons. They'll just have a sticker.
No, the thing is, one of the big appeal of the Joy-Con, like the way the Joy-Cons work as individual controllers, is actually best for kids. Mm-hmm. I can say that as a parent who has kids, and my kids use the individual Joy-Cons all the time.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't let my sisters play my Switch yet. I didn't bring it down to North Carolina, so
like I think a lot of people that like want like that Switch Mini or that like molded on experience, that's not the target for kids. Kids don't care about that.
Yeah.
That's adults that don't want to ever take or who currently don't ever take their Joy-Cons off.
True, yeah.
Yeah, it's not kids. Kids, they love the fact that you could just take this thing, put it on the table, and play multiplayer games with their friends. Mm-hmm. Like that whole appeal that we've like, oh, we never do that, dude. I've witnessed kids doing it. I witnessed my kids doing it. Like kids will do it. It's a total appeal factor for kids. Mm-hmm. And what sucks is when you have games that appeal to kids like Super Mario Party, but you're an adult and you don't want to play it that way, but they make you play it that way. Or Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee can't use a Pro Controller, even though they have a control system in place that would work with a Pro Controller. Who would want to ever do that?
Idiots.
Oh, Nintendo. Oh, Nintendo. Oh, I should say in this case, it was probably Nintendo's decision.
Game Freak.
Oh, Game Freak. Oh, Masuda.
Yeah.
Good thing you're stepping down, you bastard.
Yeah, right. Jesus.
Or well, not really stepping up because he's been producer for a while. But,
but
anyways. All right, I think that's going to do it for this podcast. I think we got into enough. I just really wanted to touch on that Pokemon thing because it really bothered me when I was reading all this like negativity being thrown at this guy who brought so much joy to millions of people, including the people bitching about it. They forget all the things he did that they like.
Yeah.
Conveniently.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just we live in a society with instant gratification.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pissed at Let's Go Peach, Let's Go. Forget that there's a whole new generation coming.
Right.
Nah, that doesn't matter. No. Forget that you just had Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon last year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, none of that matters. Because Let's Go Peach, Let's Go Eevee pisses me off.
Right.
Oh my god, is it because he said it's a core RPG? Who gives a crap?
Yeah.
Don't play it if you don't like it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's how most of the people who like are hardcore fans that I know Pokemon who aren't excited for Let's Go, it's like, yeah, we're just waiting for the next one, just not buying it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like that's the way it should be. I don't know why people actively get pissed off about it. I just don't get it. Like, yeah, it's not the Pokemon game you want. The one you want's next year. So why does it matter?
Because they want entitlement.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they just had Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon last year, and what do you say? There's that year gap and then a new gen, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is the year gap to the new gen.
Yeah.
They just decided to fill in that year gap with another remake. Yeah, maybe it's not the remake you want, but who cares? All their other remakes never really performed super well either. So if this only moves like 6-7 million units, that's what the other remakes were doing.
Yeah. So
they're looking at it as, well, maybe this is a new way to do remakes that'll sell more. And if not, oh well. Move on.
Attempt it.
Pokemon is so huge, it can survive. Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of Pokemon fans are just mad that they're actively aiming for that Pokemon Go audience and just kind of shooting over them.
Yeah, you know what I say? Do you have an audience of like 600 million people to worry about?
Yeah.
Like, anyone who's mad about catering to the Pokemon Go audience is like, are you stupid? Pokemon Go is the biggest Pokemon's ever been. Why would they not try to cater to that audience for one game at least?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's one of the biggest games ever made.
Yeah, like it's the most successful mobile game ever. It was probably the most successful game ever made, for being completely honest. In terms of install base, number of people who have tried it, number of active users every day.
Yeah.
Most like money it's made.
Probably.
It's insane. So, like, of course they're going to try to cater to it. And I know they're going to be, well, how many people playing a phone are going to buy a $300 system? You don't know till you do it.
Yeah, right.
You don't know.
Yeah, that's
nobody knows because it's unprecedented. Pokemon Go is an unprecedented game. So we don't know what happens when you make a game that caters to them on a $300 dedicated system. We don't know. The presumption is, of course, it's not going to sell 600 million copies. Well, of course not. I mean, I'm sure Nintendo would love for 600 million Switches to be sold.
Right.
But no one expects that. But they're wondering, as I said, they're wondering if, look at what our remakes have been selling. Can this kind of remake, catering to that crowd, sell more?
Mm-hmm.
That's all they're looking for. They're not basing it on, oh, if it doesn't move 30 million copies, it's a failure. They're basing it on, if it moves, a few million more than most remakes do, that's a success. And it did that by appealing to that crowd. So, yeah, they didn't get 600 million, but they got a couple. Right. And that's what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah, those November NPDs are going to be really interesting to look at.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
I wonder if you're going to see other companies, too, start to take that approach to other mobile games, if that as well.
I don't know.
Maybe Fire Emblem starts to become more like a touch version costumes.
Oh, boy.
With Goat as well.
Oh, boy. Sure, that'll make
I can already
happy.
see the loot chest in Fire Emblem where you have to get your skins.
They're just going to turn Fire Emblem 3 Houses into a gacha game.
Oh,
After all, Fire Emblem Heroes is a moneymaker, so they got to turn 3 Houses into that.
Right?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Don't go. Let's not go down this path.
Yeah, right.
All right, that's going to do it for this week's Nintendo Pride Podcast, episode 85. I want to thank 243 for joining us this week.
Oh, thanks for letting me come on.
Yeah, he was actually supposed to be on last week, but things happened, and so he's on this week. He'll probably be on again this month. He is actually one of our $20 Patreon backers, and that is actually how any of you guys out there, if you would like to be on the Nintendo Prime Podcast as a guest, become a $20 backer on Patreon. Doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber. Doesn't matter if you are a 9-year-old and got your mom to pay for it. Doesn't really matter. If you want to be on a podcast, that's how you get on. It's open to anyone. We do have a limited number of slots, of course, but we haven't hit the limit in forever, so I won't really worry about that right now. There's other tiers we have as well on Patreon. For $10, you can actually watch the podcast live as we're recording it. For $5 a month, you get the audio version a full day early before the video version. The video version always goes up. The fully edited video version podcast is up every Monday, most times, unless there's been a delay in editing or delay in recording. But then it's out on Tuesday, basically. So everything kind of works like that. You can also just even become a $1 backer. That gets you access to our exclusive Discord server. It also gives you the ability to play multiplayer games with me while I live stream. So if I'm streaming Fortnite and you want to play duos or squads with me, that's what you got to be a member of our Patreon to do that. If you want to, get in our Splatoon 2 matches, if you want to get into any of that stuff, the only games that you don't have to worry about that with are like games that have public lobbies. So things like Mario Kart 8, deluxe tournaments where there's not a limited number of slots. Obviously, we open that up to everyone. But any game that has limited slots, that's what you do. You want to face me one-on-one in Smash Bros. Gonna have to become a Patreon backer so you can prove how much I suck yet again.
Oh no,
don't worry.
Suck again.
I'll prove it plenty on my own. But if you really want to test your mettle against the worst Super Smash Bros. Player ever, I used to think I was the best. Like no one.
Are you gonna do a patrons only tournament with that nice tournament feature?
Ooh, could.
There you go.
See, there you go. See, there's already ideas flowing here.
Yeah.
From our patrons. You can also check out our podcast, by the way, not just through Patreon and on our YouTube channel. It is available on Podbean. Will be a link down in the description for that. It's available on iTunes, on Google Play, and on NintendoPrime.net.
There you go.
I think that's it. I think it's all. I think it's everything that it's all on.
Yeah.
Podbean. I think that's everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and it's absolutely free. You never need to pay a cent to enjoy this podcast. But as I said, obviously, all that money goes to support what we do here. It goes to support this podcast weekly. It goes to support other endeavors, the equipment, these nice microphones we're using, the camera upgrade you're going to see in a few episodes from now or so when we're no longer using this camera, which actually this camera is a really nice one. But the camera feed you're seeing is actually a webcam. I don't know if you guys knew it. Did you know it was a webcam? Because it's a really nice webcam. It's the Brio, Logitech Brio webcam. For those who know, it's a 4K webcam. That's why it looks so nice, despite being a webcam. But it's going to be a whole new world once we switch to the other camera we already have. And all of that was made possible by all you guys out there. In fact, I think most of the equipment we have was made possible, I think, by your guys' generous donations, support on Patreon, Super Chats, all that stuff. I'm trying to think. The lighting, the lights we're using for the green screen, the lights we're using here, those were out of my pocket. Let me see. The switch was obviously out of my pocket. These stands were out of my pocket. A lot of stuff, I guess, was out of my pocket, too. The mixer was out of my pocket. The computer is out of my pocket. So I guess a lot of things were out of my pocket, too. I guess it's a combination of things. But all the things that made our audio sound good.
Then again, one could argue your pockets are full because of donations and...
Well, no, because, see, the thing is, like, the camera.
Yeah.
The webcam, my parents bought that.
Yeah.
But, like, the camera and all, like, a lot of that equipment was specifically, like, donations for that stuff.
Right, yeah.
These lovely microphones.
Yes.
I mean, Be Righteous, my boy.
Yes.
My boy, Be Righteous.
Right.
I bought the screen guards. Oh, man. I gotta fix this screen guard. It's held together with a piece of ribbon and a rubber band. I think it's time to get a new one.
Whoops.
I think it's time to get a new screen guard or pop filter, I guess they call it. But whatever gets the job done here at Nintendo Prime. Little did you know, this entire show is held together with rubber bands and popsicle sticks. There was a time actually when the chairs we were sitting on were held together by some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
There was a time that the bed I slept on had pieces of wood sticking out of it. Let me tell you, I have been to places. I have seen things. I have slept in truck beds.
Yeah.
Might have been because I had too much to drink, but I did sleep in them.
There you go.
All right. We're going to catch you guys next week. And, yeah. Oh, you can follow me on Twitter, by the way, at NintyPrime. You can follow Eric on Twitter at Emo8790.
Yes.
I don't know if 243. You want to shout out anything, 243?
I'm going to just say, leave in the comments if Goku being afloat in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade will help him be in Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Leave in the comments.
Yes. Fantastic. I like it.
All right, guys.
I like it.
We'll catch you in the next one.